Let's work through some examples for section 3 when we're dividing out these monomials. For 23, I'm not going to give you the answer here, but what I am going to do is tell you to look at this entire thing as a single entity to the 0 power and think about what that might mean if you took all of that, no matter what's inside, to the 0 power, how you might treat that. So I'm just going to leave you with that thought. Moving down here, working on this example, we see that we have some negative powers and a negative out front. Now this negative right here bothers me. It's just kind of floating, lost in space, and there's a good chance that it's going to get lost somewhere in this problem if we don't put it somewhere. So I'm going to actually get rid of that entirely, and I'm going to write a -1 on top. A -1 says that that negative is really the number -1 being multiplied. And I specifically like to keep negatives on the top of fractions because it's less likely to get lost. So next part, I see negative exponents, and I want to do something about those. I want to get them out of the place where they are and put them where they can become a positive exponent. So that a to the -5th is going to become a to the +5th if I write it on the denominator. So I'm going to move that to the bottom. So now I only have a -1 on top. Next step, I'm going to start cleaning things up. So on top I have -1. On the bottom I have a 4. I have an a to the 2nd and an a to the 5th. So a times a times a times a times a times a times a. So a times itself twice, and then 5 more times is going to be a total of 7 times a is multiplied by itself. So we did that, we did the a's, and then I'm going to have the b to the 5th remaining. So I'm going to write that. Sometimes I like to cross them out. That might be a good strategy for you as you do these problems, to cross out the ones you've used so that you remember to not miss anything and you don't double count something by accident. Let's go ahead and do one more example down here. The problem here has 2a to the -2nd, b to the 5th, over -2 b to the 5th. One thing that might help is this negative here, just like the one before, can get a little bit lost. So what I would recommend is actually breaking it off of that 2 as a -1. And because it's a big multiplication and division problem, I would actually move it to the numerator, which is something you can do if there's a single chunk or a single term going on in the top and bottom. You can move that negative from top to bottom. So I'm going to rewrite this as a -1, and I'm actually going to put it on top. Now it's a little bit clearer to me. I don't like negatives in that denominator. Other things that I notice is I have an a to the -2nd here, and that is a negative exponent. I want to do something about that. I'm going to write it as a to the +2nd down below, and then get rid of it up here. So whenever I take a negative and move it to the other part of the fraction, the exponent becomes positive, and then I have to get rid of the original. So cleaning this up a little bit, I have -1 times 2 times b to the 5th over 2 times b to the 5th times a to the 2nd. When I look at this, one thing I notice is that I have a b to the 5th on top and bottom. Well, which one has more? Neither. They have the same. And when that happens, they actually completely reduce down to 1. So they go away from this problem. It reduces to 1 over 1. That leaves us on top and bottom with also a 2. And that 2, just like when you're reducing a fraction, if you have it broken down, that 2 divides out with another 2, leaving us with 1 over 1 again. So on top we have -1 times 1 times 1, just -1. On bottom we have 1 times 1 times a to the 2nd, leaving us just a to the 2nd. So this one started out a little bit messy. It cleans up real nice, -1 over a squared.